Hi everybody, welcome back to Science with Sandra. Today we're going to talk about matter. Does anybody know what is matter? Well, there are many kinds of matter. We're going to take a look at this book together. I'm going to pause throughout and we'll have some time to think and to talk about what we think matter is. Matter is all around you. It's everywhere. There are three different kinds of matter. There's solids, liquids, and gas. Now I'm going to stop for a minute and ask you, what do you think is a solid? What is a liquid? What is a gas? We'll start by looking at solids. A solid matter holds its own shape. Solids do not take the shape of the container they are in. For example, if you filled a jar with marbles, the marbles are still round. The marbles are still the same shape. Books, rocks, toys are all solids. I like to think of solids as being hard, something you can touch, and it's something that holds its shape. Solids are not easy to compress. Compress means to squeeze into a tight space. Bottles and cans are solids. It's not easy to squeeze them all into the recycling bin. Can you think of some other things that are solids? Well, here's another property of solids. Solids do not flow. Solid candies don't spread across the ice cream the way the hot fudge does. Liquids are another kind of matter. We're going to talk a little bit about liquids and see how they're different from solids. Liquid matter does not hold its own shape. Liquids take the shape of their container. The water inside a swimming pool takes the shape of the swimming pool. The water inside the oil jug takes on the shape of the oil jug. Liquids are not easy to compress. Milk is a liquid. You could not fit the milk in the big jug into the tiny carton. What do you think would happen if you tried? Once you start to pour and the little jug is filled, what's going to happen to the rest of the milk? It's going to spill out. Liquids flow. Liquid syrup spreads across the pancakes. Gases. Gases are the third type of matter. Does anyone have any idea of what's a gas? An example of a gas? Breathe in. Gas, your breath is one example of a gas. Air, steam are other examples of gases. Gas matter does not hold its own shape, just like the liquids. They also didn't hold their own shape. Gases take on the shape of the container. The air inside this hot air balloon takes on the shape of the hot air balloon. What do you think happens to the gas, to the air inside the hot air balloon when it's let out? It kind of floats away and mixes in with the air, right? Because it doesn't keep its own shape once it's let out. So it just kind of flows its way through. Gases are easy to compress. Carbon dioxide is a gas. It's squeezed inside the soda cans to give the soda bubbles. Gases can also flow like a liquid. The air inside a bubble spreads to fill the bubble. That's what makes it round. Here's something really interesting about matter. Matter can change. Can you think of a matter that can change? Well, we talked about liquids, and we know that water is a liquid. If you pour water into a different shape container, it changes its shape inside the bowl. It's hard for you to see that, but it will fill the bowl. You can practice that at home, pouring between a couple of different containers to see. Well, how do you think you could change water into a solid? You could freeze it to make ice. Ice is the solid form of water. I'm trying to put it where you can see it. What happens if you hold the ice for too long? I can see it's already starting to drip, drip, drip. The drip is a sign of the liquid flowing. And as the liquid starts to, you know the word, melt, it changes from a solid to a liquid. Water can also change into a gas. Does anyone know? What do you have to do to change water into a gas? If you boil it, like if you boil a kettle, you'll see the steam coming out. And the steam coming out is water turning into a gas. Water is a very special kind of matter. You already know that water is a liquid, but it can be found in all three forms on our planet. Here it is as ice. That's a solid. Here it is as a waterfall. That's showing it's flowing. It's a liquid. And here it is coming out of a geyser. It's a gas. It's coming out as steam, as a gas. Water becomes a solid if it's cooled. It turns into ice. Lakes and ponds can turn into ice, and we can also freeze water at home in our refrigerators, in our freezers. Water becomes a gas when it's heated. The water turns into steam when it's boiled. It has to get very hot to boil, and then the steam will begin to come. Water at any temperature can change into water vapor. Water vapor is a gas. This change is called evaporation. When you leave your dishes to dry in a drying rack, the dishes dry after the water evaporates. Water vapor changes back into liquid water when it cools in the air. This is called condensation. You can see condensation after you take a hot shower. The water vapor touches the shower door and it turns back into a liquid. Have you ever seen water vapor, the condensation on your shower door? Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, can anybody else think of any other solids that can turn into liquids? There's lots of them out there. Think about it for a little bit. I'm going to give you some examples from here. Another matter that can, cheese is another matter that can change. Cheese is a solid, but it melts when it gets hot. It changes into a liquid. Did you ever have macaroni and cheese? The cheese has been mixed and melted and very hot, and it turns into a liquid to coat the macaroni. Yum. This is fondue, piece of bread dipped into melted cheese. Juice is a liquid. It freezes when it gets cold. It changes into a solid. Popsicles are a liquid that have been changed into a solid. Ooh, this is interesting. Dry ice is a solid. Dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide. It changes back into a gas as it warms up, and it makes a steam. It makes a steamy look. We use solids, liquids, and gases every day. They are a very important part of our lives and of our planet. Now we are going to play with something that's, there are many ways that we can change the shape of different materials. We're going to take a look at one today. I have some ice back in my bowl. I have some cornstarch and some water here. We're going to see what happens. Cornstarch is a solid. It's a powder, but it's sort of a solid. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the cornstarch to see what happens. And you guys can do this along with me at home. Hopefully you have a setup to do this along with me at home. When we mix these together, we'll take a look and let's talk a little bit about what's happening. We add the water, which is a liquid, and it looks like a liquid. It drips like a liquid. It flows like a liquid. But when it hits the bottom of the tray, when you go to scoop it up, it feels like a solid. See if you can scoop up a little bit in your hands and roll it together like a ball. I did it. It feels like a solid. But watch what happens when we stop. It's flowing like a liquid. Oobleck is very fun to play with. It's great to feel. It's fun to watch it drip. You can drip it back into your cups. You'll notice that I just used a little bit of my water. You just add the water very slowly. Don't dump it. Add the water very slowly to get the texture that you want. And then you can play with it and mush it around. See if you can roll it into a ball or a snake. You can cover your hands with it. It feels nice and cool in your hands. And if it's okay with your parents, you can you can use your cars. Use a car to drive in it. You can get, if you have a toy animal, you can drip it over it. Drip, 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 drip. And when you're done, you have to be very careful not to make a mess. Ask your parents to help you either bring a bowl to the table to rinse your hands in, or very carefully walk to the sink so you don't drip it on carpets or anything, and wash your hands in the sink. Hey, thanks for joining in to Science with Sandra today. It was fun to learn about 3 kinds of matter: solids, liquids, and gas. And I can't wait to see what we're going to do next week.